Hi, good evening, everyone. This is my project for our mass fatality project. This is the PowerPoint presentation. Um, I went a little bit of a different route with my project because I think mass fatalities usually indicate like a nature event or a shooting. I went a little bit differently, and it does count as a mass fatality because I did some research and found out that as long as it is 4 or more people, it can count as a mass fatality. Mass fatality incident, like I said, is characterized by 4 or more. And it's usually based from a common cause of something happening. And they're either in the same exact place or they're very close. This particular incident that I'm going to cover took place in 1982 in Chicago, Illinois, in the time span of a few days. So this was a fairly quick succession of deaths. This started out with a 12-year-old girl passing and then went on to 6 other people. So a total of 7 people passed away from this. These were the Tylenol poisonings of 1982. I'm going to age myself here. I was not born until 1993. But in talking to my mother, she remembers that there was a time when you could just simply open a container of pills and it was just pills. There wasn't any cotton, there weren't any tamper-evident seals, no child-proof caps. It was just a bottle with whatever pills it was inside. But because of this incident, that's why we now have tamper-evident packaging and child-proof lids, and we also have cotton sometimes being put in containers, like really anything that can show that somebody went in there and messed with it, or makes it more difficult to open. So in 1982 in Chicago, Illinois, a still unknown person, they never caught this person, or persons, it could have been multiple, tampered with several bottles of the over-the-counter pain relief aid Tylenol. The first fatality was this little 12-year-old girl, and then 6 more followed after her. And the poison in question was cyanide. So this is why I think this could be a real issue for the time in dealing with the population and just the regular deaths plus these 6 for the area that it happened in. So you're looking at a population in Chicago in 1982 is 7,244,000 people. So that's a pretty big population for this small area that you see over here on this map. Because the size of Chicago itself is only 231 miles, which for us Texans is nothing, really. The crime rate at this time, it wasn't as high as it was in the 70s, but it was still fairly high. Lots of gang violence. There was the crack epidemic at this time. So resources were probably already spread pretty thin when it comes to emergency responses and funeral responses. Cyanide poisoning's effects. So this is what would happen to you if you ingested cyanide. Fun fact, there are people that are born with the ability to smell cyanide. And it smells like bitter almonds. I myself have never smelled it, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have any point of reference for this, really. But I just thought that was a really cool thing, that there are some people that just genetically they can smell this. But symptoms of cyanide poisoning can include nausea, dizziness, restlessness, a headache. And the reason this is so... cyanide itself is dangerous, but when you put it in with Tylenol, usually you're taking Tylenol because you're already in some sort of pain. So if your pain amps up, you probably think, oh, I just need to take more. And so you take more Tylenol or whatever, and you're ingesting more and more cyanide. And as with most any other poisonings like this, if you don't get the antidote rather quickly, it'll kill you. But basically what this does to you is it affects the heart, the brain. It causes a buildup of lactic acid in the muscles. So you're looking at seizures with that, as well as cardiac arrest, loss of consciousness, hypotension, which is low blood pressure, lung injuries, and respiratory failure. Cyanide poisoning, it smells like bitter almonds, and it's fairly fast acting. It doesn't take a lot to become a problem. So this mass poisoning incident, as I said before, introduced the tamper-proof packaging. Now, there is a difference between tamper-proof and tamper-evident. Tamper-evident is going to be something that if you see it, you can tell, okay, somebody messed with this packaging, and I'm probably not going to buy it. Even if it was just someone that was, there are people that will go through the store and, oh, I have a headache, let me take 2 of these Tylenols out of here and just leave this package here. I'm still not going to take that because I don't know if something was done to it. And then there are tamper-proof packagings, which that's the type of stuff that you essentially need like scissors to get into. So it makes it to where people really just, with just hands and nothing else, probably couldn't get into it. We've got our child-proof lids, our wads of cotton, tamper-evident. And as I've stated before, if you see a broken seal, you're probably not likely to not take that, even if it's just the box is damaged, just because you never know if someone's messed with it. So embalming a person that was poisoned via cyanide, you're going to have this smell of bitter almonds. Once again, I've never smelled this smell. I don't know if it's an unpleasant smell or if it's just interesting. I'm not sure. You're probably going to get a lot more rigor in these people and quicker because of the lactic acid buildup in the muscles. You're also going to notice a pink or red lividity that's going to appear, but it is intravascular, so it will clear as our embalming chemicals diffuse and distribute throughout the body. Due to its effect on the heart and brain, you're going to probably have issues with distribution, and you might have to do some hypodermic procedures because anytime you have issues with the circulatory system being attacked, you're going to run into that. So those are some things to be mindful of. And the effects of these mass casualties on the funeral business, I didn't put a whole lot here. But as a whole, I mean, this is really unexpected and scary, and at the time, nobody had ever really encountered this. I mean, this was a mass poisoning. They didn't know where it was coming from. Tylenol was under fire because they thought, well, this had to have happened on a factory level, and it didn't. You know, they found out, well, not only did it not happen at a factory level, but we can pinpoint where it happened. You had a lot of high emotions because this is completely unexpected. Not that death is always expected, but especially with the death of a 12-year-old girl who just wasn't feeling good, had a headache, took a couple extra strength Tylenols, and now she's dead. I mean, that's a pretty extreme thing to happen. And then you had deaths of people that were in the same household. You had multiple people of the same household, and you're not only are you not expecting to lose these people, but all at once. And then also these people that passed, they weren't exactly people that were older that maybe had things in place or options for how they wanted their remains handled. That's also a really big, I mean, that's a lot of money to have to bury and, you know, do that for several people at once, especially locating the next of kin and getting all that paperwork together, which seems really small and arbitrary, but, you know, as it pertains to the funeral service world, that's a very big issue. And then you also have the, you know, you having to be extra gentle with these people, and because people already do have kind of a skewed view of, I've had people tell me that they think the whole funeral business is a scam, you know, or it's a money grab. And then, you know, to have several people in one family die at once, you know, it's a very delicate thing. And I think when you're working in an area that's probably already spread thin resource-wise, and then you tack on 6 more deaths, especially unexpected, and, you know, with all the trauma involved, you've got a real situation on your hands. But that is my presentation of a mass casualty effect on funeral service. Thank you.